Welcome, my dear learners, for this course on operations research. In our module 2, we were discussing about linear programming problems. So far, I have introduced you people to the concept of big M or penalty method. In our previous lecture, we have solved a problem on big M method. Let us continue our discussion on big M method. Solve our second problem on big M method. The problem number 2 of our discussion on big M method states that use the big M method to maximize z is equal to 3x1 minus x2 subjected to 2x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 2, x1 plus 3x2 greater than or equal to 3, x2 less than or equal to 4. And he has given the positive constraints that the variable x1 and x2 are all greater than or equal to 0. Let us solve this problem. As we all know that before approaching the problem, we should represent the linear programming model in its standard form. We have 3 conditions to represent this in its standard form. That is, in condition 1, we should formulate this into linear equations with positive right hand side. Second one, all the variables must be positive. And the third case is that the objective function is to be maximization or minimization. As he himself has been mentioned that the objective function is to maximize, no need to convert and solve, just directly we can solve the problem. Let us represent the given problem in its standard form first. So moving on for the solution, we have Z max is equal to 3x1 minus x2 subjected to the constraint is 2x1 plus x2 is less than or equal to 2. Since it is less than or equal, I should add some variable. Since I am adding, it is a slack variable, therefore it is plus s1 is equal to 2. So coming for the second constraint, we have x1 plus 3x2 is greater than or equal to 3. Since it is greater than or equal to, I should subtract. Since I am subtracting, I will be using the surplus. Whenever you are using the surplus variable, you should introduce the artificial variable along with it. So therefore, it is s2 plus a1. So to avoid confusion, since the surplus is s2, let us take the artificial as a2. Which is equal to 3. And we have x2. Since it is less than or equal to, I should add some variable. Since I am adding, I will be adding the slack. So let us take the slack as s3 is equal to 4. If you clearly observe, s1 and s3 are slack variables, s2 is surplus variable. Therefore, since it is a surplus variable, I am introducing the artificial variable along with it. And we should state the condition that all the variables are positive. That is x1, x2, s1, s2, a2 and s3 are all greater than or equal to 0, which means are all positive. So therefore, writing the objective function, we have s1 is slack variable, so therefore it is plus 0 s1. Coming for s2 is a surplus variable, therefore we have introduced the artificial variable along with it. So for surplus variable, we have plus 0 s2. And now coming for the artificial variable, we already know that for maximization problem, the coefficient of the artificial variable is minus m. For minimization problems, the coefficient of artificial variable is plus m in the objective function. But in order to avoid the confusion, we are always solving the problem as the objective function is to maximize. If he has been given the problem as minimization, convert it into the maximization and then solve. Since he has given the problem as maximization itself, we are not converting the objective function to maximization. And the quotient of the artificial variable is minus m times the a2, which we have already discussed in detail in our previous lecture. Next, moving on for s3, since we are adding s3, it is slack variable, therefore it is 0 S3. So this completes the objective function for us. Next, moving on for the first simplex table, that is for the first iteration for our big M method. We have for the first iteration, the first column will be basic variables. Coefficient of basic variables, and we have xb. Now, and we have the variables x1, x2, s1, s3, etc. Before entering the variables, let us convert this set of linear equations into their matrix form. By using that, it will be easy for us to write the simplex table. So therefore, in matrix form, the set of linear equations can be written as taking the variables first. The variables are x1, x2, s1, s2, a2, and finally we have s3, in which s1 and s3 are slack variables, s2 is surplus variable, therefore we have the artificial variable along with it. So taking the first linear equation, the quotient of x1 is 2, quotient of x2 is 1, quotient of s1 is 1, we don't have s2, we don't have a2, we don't have s3. Next, coming for second linear equation, the quotient of x1 is 1, x2 is 3, we don't have s1, s2 is minus 1, artificial variable is 1, and we don't have s3. Coming for the third linear equation, we don't have x1, the quotient of x2 is 1, we don't have s1, we don't have s2, we don't have a2, the quotient of s3 is 1. This is equal to the RHS of the set of linear equations is 2, 3, 4. So write it 2, 3 and 4. So now completing the simplex table. So taking the variables, we have x1, x2, s1, s2, a2, and finally we have s3. x1, x2, s1, s2, a2 and s3. And I should calculate the minimum ratio of xb by xk, and finally I should do row operations. So drawing the table, we'll get now above xb, I should write it as ci, which is nothing but the coefficient of variables in the objective function. So in the objective function, the quotient of the variables are x1 is 3, x2 is minus 1, s1 is 0, s2 is 0, a2 is minus m, s3 is 0. Now taking the basic variables, a very important note is that the basic variables are slack variables and artificial variables only. You should not take the surplus variables. So the basic variables are slack and artificial variables only. One should not take surplus variable, very important note. So therefore, here if you clearly observe, s1 and s3 are slack variables. So writing it in the order, we have s1, the slack variable. Next, I cannot take s2, I can take a2, which is an artificial variable, and finally we have the slack s3. So drawing the table. Now we know that Z is equal to summation of CBXB, whereas CB is nothing but the coefficient of basic variables. The coefficient of basic variables are, coefficient of S1 is 0, A2 is minus M, and S3 is 0. And this XB is nothing but the RHS of the set of linear equations what we have, that is 2, 3, 4. So entering it, we will get 2, 3 and 4. So now pick this from x1 to s3 and place it to the simplex matrix. So from x1 to s3 we have already formatted the matrix. So pick it and place according to x1, x2, s1, s2, a2 and s3. So we get 2, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 3, 0, minus 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0 and 1. Now taking the summation, 2 into 0 is 0, plus 3 into minus m is minus 3m, and 4 into 0 is 0, so therefore I will get the value as minus 3m. Now I should calculate the value of delta I. We know the formula, delta I is equal to Zi minus Ci. I should calculate the values of delta from x1 to s3. So we know the formula for delta I. Formula for delta I is given by Zi minus Ci, which is nothing but summation of Cb xi minus Ci. So if I do for x1, so I will get delta of x1 is equal to Cb x1. Cb is 0. 0 into x1 is 2, plus minus m into x1 is 1, plus 0 into 0, minus Ci of x1 is 3, plus 3. So if I solve, I will get the value as minus m minus 3. Minus m minus 3. Similarly, if I do for x2, I will get the value as 0 into 1 plus minus m into 3 plus 0 into 1 minus x2 Ci is minus 1. So if I solve, I will get minus 3m plus 1. Similarly, if I solve for s1, so before that let me enter for x2, it is minus 3m plus 1. Solving for s1, I will get 0 into 1 is 0, 0, 0, minus 0 is 0. Similarly for s2, if I do 0 into 0, minus into minus is plus m, 0, that is plus m, minus 0 is m. So coming for a2, 0 into 0 is 0, here I have minus of minus is plus m, minus m plus m will get cancelled, I will get the value as 0. So for s3 also I will get the value as 0. So this completes the delta I calculation for x1 to s3. Now among these delta I values, minus 3m plus 1 is the most negative delta I. So therefore this indicates the incoming vector. So now taking the ratio of xp by xk, that is xp by x2, we will get 2 by 1 is 2, 3 by 3 is 1 and 4 by 1 is 4. So minimum among this ratio is 1. So therefore the outgoing vector is A2 and row 2 is the key row, and for us the key element is 3. So therefore first I should make this key element as unity, and by using this key row I should perform the operations. Let us do that. Now moving for iteration 2, before that let us mark the rows as row 1, row 2, row 3 and row 4. Now the basic variable will be S1 is unaltered and A2 is outgoing and X2 is coming in, so therefore it is X2, and S3 is unaltered. Coming for coefficients CB, for S1 the coefficient is 0, for X2 the coefficient is -1 in the objective function, for S3 the coefficient is 0 in the objective function. -1, 0 and 0. So coming for XB, we should do the calculation of row operation from XB to S3. Let us perform it. And we have the value of Z should be performed from row operation itself. Now we already found out that this is the key row for us. I should make this key element as unity. That can be possible only by dividing this row 2 throughout by 3. So therefore new row 2 dash is equal to old row 2 divided by 3. So if I do that, I should do the row operation from XB to S3. I'll get 3 by 3 is 1, 1 by 3, 3 by 3 is 1, 0, minus 1 by 3, 1 by 3 and 0. Now I should make these two as, I should make all the elements above and below the key element as zeros. So therefore here I have 1, so it is very simple. Therefore the row 1 of second iteration is equal to row 1 of first iteration minus new row 2. Similarly here also I have 1, so operation is simple. New row 3 is equal to old row 3 minus new row 2. And coming for row 4, I should make it as 0. So therefore new row 4 is equal to old row 4. I have minus 3m, so therefore I want plus 3m. I have plus 1, so therefore I want minus 1 times the new row R2 dash. So row 2 is the key row for us. So using row 2 we should perform the operations. Let us perform the row operation for new row 1. So old row 1 we have 2 minus 1, 2 minus 1 is 1. Here I have 2, 2 minus 1 by 3. So 2 minus 1 by 3 will gives us the value as 5 by 3. Here I have 1, so this is 0, that is what I require. Here also I should get 0 and here also I should get 0. Based on this only I have written the row operations. So here I have 1, here I have 0, so therefore it will become 1. Here I have 0, but here I have minus 1 by 3. So minus of minus will become plus 1 by 3. Next, here I have 0, here I have 1 by 3. It will become minus 1 by 3. Here I have 0, here also 0, therefore it will become 0. Next, coming for row 3, we have the value as 4. So 4 minus 1 is 3. Here we have 0, here we have 1 by 3. So it will become minus 1 by 3. This will become 0, that is what I require. Here also 0, here also 0, it will become 0. Coming for 0, here I have minus 1 by 3. It will become 0 minus of minus 1 by 3 is plus 1 by 3. Here I have 0, here I have 1 by 3. It will become minus 1 by 3. Here I have 1, but here I have 0, so therefore this 1. So coming for the final row, we have minus 3m plus 3m minus 1 of row 2 new is 1. So therefore minus 3m plus 3m will get cancelled. I will get the value as minus 1. So z1 is equal to minus 1. The summation also says the same thing. This is 0, this is 0, minus 1 into 1 is minus 1. So it is correct. Next, coming for here, we have minus m minus 3 plus 3m minus 1 times the row 2 is 1 by 3rd. So if I do, I will get minus m minus 3 plus m minus 1 by 3. So I will get minus 3 minus 1 by 3. The answer will be minus 10 by 3. I will get the value as minus 10 by 3. Next we have 0. Coming over here, already we have 0, here also 0, to become 0. Coming over here, we have m plus 3m minus 1 of minus 1 by 3. So we'll get the value as m minus m, minus of minus is plus 1 by 3. So the answer is plus 1 by 3. Here we have 0, here we have 1 by 3. So therefore I will get m minus 1 by 3. Here we have 0, here also 0, it will become 0. So if I see the calculation again, I am getting one value of delta as negative. We have not calculated, but we have performed the row operation and we have found out that x1 will be coming in. Since this is the most negative value, so this will be incoming vector. Now taking the ratio of xp by xk, it is xp by x1. So therefore I will get 1 divided by 5 by 3, which is nothing but 3 by 5. And here we have 1 divided by 1 by 3, which is equal to 3, and here it is negative value. 3 divided by minus 1 by 3 is negative, we cannot consider. So therefore from the observation it is clear that 3 by 5 is the minimum ratio. So therefore S1 is the outgoing vector. So S1 moves out and X1 will enter the matrix. Let us perform the operation for iteration number 3. Now coming for iteration 3, we have the basic variables as S1 is moving out and X1 is coming in, X2 is unaltered, and also S3 is unaltered. Coming for the coefficients, quotient of X1 is 3, X2 is -1 and S3 is 0. I should calculate the value of Z through row operation. Let us do that. Now, drawing the table, we have now for us the key element is clearly seen, it is 5 by 3. So therefore row 1 is the key row for third iteration. So first I should make this as unity. I can make this as unity, that is R1 double dash is equal to R1 dash whole divided by 3 by 5. So if I do that, I'll get the value as 3 by 5, 1 which is I required, 0, 5 by 3, whole divided by 5 by 3, sorry, whole divided by 5 by 3 or multiply by 3 by 5. Whole divided by 5 by 3. 5 by 3, 5 by 3 will get cancelled. 1 by 5 by 3 will become 3 by 5. Correct? 0. 1 by 5 by 3 is 3 by 5. 3 will get cancelled. It is 1 by 5. Here also 3 will get cancelled. I get minus 1 by 5 and then 0. So now I should make this as 0. It is possible by taking the row 2 as row 2 double dash is equal to row 2 of previous step, that is row 2 dash minus 1 by 3rd of the key row. Key row is R1 double dash. Similarly here I have minus 1 by 3, so therefore I should take it as plus 1 by 3. So R3 double dash is equal to R3 dash plus 1 by 3 of key row, that is R1 double dash. Here I have a minus 10 by 3, so therefore R4 double dash is equal to R4 dash plus 10 by 3 of key row. Key row is R1 double dash. So thereby I can make these values as zeros. Let us perform the operation for row 2. Here I have 1, here I have 3 by 5. So therefore 1 minus 1 by 3 into 3 by 5. So 3 will get cancelled. 1 minus 1 by 5. 1 minus 1 by 5 is nothing but 4 by 5. Here also 1, so therefore I will get 4 by 5. Here we have 0, but here we have here we have 1, but here we have 0, so therefore it should become 1 because key row element is 0. Next, moving for this term, we have 0 here, but here we have 3 by 5, so therefore 0 minus 1 by 3 into 3 by 5, it is minus 1 by 5. Here I have minus 1 by 3, here I have 1 by 5. So therefore minus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 3 into 1 by 5 minus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 15 minus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 15 which yields us minus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 3 into 1 by 5 minus 2 by 5. Coming over here, we have 1 by 3. So therefore 1 by 3 minus 1 by 3 into minus 1 by 5 is plus 2 by 5. We have here also 0, here also 0, therefore it is 0. Next, moving for row 3, here we have 3, here we have 3 by 5. 3 and 3 by 5. So therefore if we perform the operation 3 plus 1 by 3 into 3 by 5, we get the value as 16 by 5. Here we have 0, here also 0, it will become 0. Here we have 0, but here we don't have 0, it is 3 by 5. So therefore I will get the value as minus plus 1 by 5. Next, coming over here, we have 1 by 3 and 1 by 5. So therefore 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 into 1 by 5 is 2 by 5. Here we have minus 1 by 3. So I get minus 2 by 5. Here we have 1, but here we have 0. So therefore I will get the value as 1. Next, moving for the final row, here we have minus 1 plus 10 by 3 into 3 by 5, which gives the value as 1. Here we have 0, here also 0, it will become 0. Here we have 0, here we have 3 by 5. So therefore 10 by 3 into 3 by 5, which gives us the value as 2. Here we have 1 by 3, here we have 1 by 5. So therefore 1 by 3 plus 10 by 3 into 1 by 5. We'll get the value as 1. Here we have m, so write m as it is, minus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 3 plus 10 by 3 into minus 1 by 5. Minus 1, so therefore we get as m plus 1. So here also 0, here also 0, it will become 0. So it is clear that all the elements of delta I are greater than or equal to 0, they are positive, the problem terminates and the answer is 1. Whereas the value of x1 is 3 by 5, x2 is 4 by 5. If I do the summation, I will get the value as 3 plus 3 into 3 by 5 plus minus 1 into 4 by 5. The value is 1. So therefore the answer is correct. So we have completed the problem. Delta I is equal to Zi minus Ci. We have not done. We have calculated through the row operations. So therefore, since all values of delta I are positive, the problem terminates. The problem terminates, and the answer what we got are x1 is equal to 3 by 5 and x2 is equal to 4 by 5, and finally the value of z is 1. So therefore that is z max. So the final answer is x1 is 3 by 5, x2 is 4 by 5 and z max is unity. So this completes the given problem. Thereby we have concluded our discussion on big M method or penalty method. From next lecture, we are ready to discuss the two-phase simplex method. That's all from this lecture. Thank you.